Hi, I'm Zach Stewart.
Laura Hotchkiss.
And I'm Daniel Kvoras. On this podcast, we improvise in character as hosts of a morning radio show in a fictional country called the Driftwood Isles.
Everything we say is made up, and none of the events, people, or places are real.
It's that simple. Now enjoy this episode of Good Morning Driftwood. And welcome back to Good Morning Driftwood, good folks of Driftwood. It's me, your pal, Dirk Wiley, and my lovely companions, my lovely co-hosts, Penelope MacGuffin.
It's me, your pal, Dirk Wiley.
And Bench PerDiem.
It's me, your pal, Dirk Wiley.
Guys, I have to beg of you. I'm going to have an identity crisis again if you commit to this, like you did a couple of years ago.
You're right.
You both came dressed as me and said you were me, and I spun out.
Dirk Day.
I did not agree to Dirk Day. You thought it would be a fun surprise for my birthday.
Yeah.
It led to a whole crisis of conscience and of self. My sense of self was just melted away that day.
It did. It unexpected consequences.
Like I had when we ego death.
Oh my God, when we brought the cake out and you couldn't even blow out the candles because you didn't believe oxygen was real anymore, that was wild.
Yeah, I thought I was just a shadow on the wall, and therefore oxygen and air could not enter or be expelled from me.
And it was interesting as well because I don't think we were all like, you know, we weren't film realistic outfits. We were just like wearing a suit and like gelled our hair in a certain way. And
fooled me.
Like, you know, like a couple people had like novelty mugs that they'd made that was like best radio host, silly things like that. Just
a lot
to like
of us had
enhance
just
the
a name
costume.
tag that said, "Hello, my name is Dirk Wiley," though.
Yeah.
And it also didn't help that after work we all took you to celebrate in like a fun house, and it was just all these mirrors and all of us dressed like you. That really made it worse. That was a bad call.
Fun house mirrors. Not fun.
Not fun.
I don't know who's seeing funhouse mirrors and being like, what a goofy, silly time. They're always existentially terrifying. And that's why they're commonly used as the finale shootouts of so many crime films and
Speak more. Keep going.
You know what wasn't a shootout there, but in my head feels like it was when Marissa shot, was it Trey in the OC? That as soon as you said that, I went, that's what happened in that show, and it wasn't in any way.
I think it was just in like a hotel room or something.
It's like a weird Mandela effect or something where it's like you said
envision
this,
that in a fun house,
and now every single thing I've thought of is like, oh yeah, that took place in a fun house. I'm like, no, it never did.
Every time.
Are you trying to say that's a Ben Mendelsohn effect?
Oh no, that's when a really solid actor comes in and heightens a performance.
Oh, okay.
But then in interviews talks about how he keeps playing the Soulsborne games. That's a whole thing. What a guy. You don't.
I'm so sorry.
Those are video games where there's like a really difficult boss battle.
Okay.
Ben Mendelsohn?
Yeah.
I'm lost.
Yeah, you fight Ben Mendelsohn.
I have been lost like a minute after we started.
But we made you
Funhouse
on that.
mirrors spun you out?
I was with us until then, and then I said that, and then I was like, what did I inflict upon this program?
It's like your own ideas got caught in a funhouse mirror complex in your own brain.
That is what happened.
You started not being able to recognize your own thoughts and follow them.
I just have an ego death. Is that what that is?
Ooh. Let's all ego die today.
Oh my God, yeah, that'll be so fun.
So fun.
Oh no, I've got that booked for 2 weeks from now, though.
Okay.
And you can't do too many ego deaths, or then it's permanent death and you run out of lives.
If you die in ego, you die in real life?
Yeah.
That's bad. We don't want
that. You only
that.
have so many egos to die.
Like,
how many?
I don't know if I'm...
Probably like a cat, like 9.
That makes sense.
Cats are the most egotistical animal, so that would make sense.
Hey.
They all think very highly of themselves.
I don't know if I'm hungry enough for full ego death, but I would happily share some ego death if we ordered it for the table.
I think I could do like a quarter portion ego death.
You want to share?
If I have a full portion of ego death.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll come back from that.
Cool.
Quarter portion.
Oh my God.
You'll have a half.
Yeah.
So that leaves another quarter for you, Bench. Is a quarter portion ego death enough for you, or do you need like a half or a full?
Would you rather we do a sort of tapas thing where we order several types of?
And I'm trying
ego death, maybe a little bit of id death.
I am doing intermittent ego fasting. So if we can do this later, like in a few hours, I'll have my ego death window, and then that's fine. Then I can have however much I want.
An allotted period of time when you will ego die and be able to come back.
Yes, and then I ego live for 16 hours.
Ooh, what does that look like? Ego living.
Hey, man.
Is that when you let your ego come back with a vengeance?
I let my ego flag fly.
So you're just tooting your own horn.
When you said that, I thought you said eagle flag, and I was like, don't bring that up to Dirk.
Justice, my falcon.
I feel like Dirk would love an eagle flag.
He's crushing.
How's Justice?
Justice is great.
Why'd you bring him to studio ever?
He doesn't like radio.
Yeah, it's weird.
No.
Yeah. He's a visual guy.
It's the one thing we fight about a lot.
He does, because do people keep thinking that he does like echolocating? And he's like, those are bats. That's not my thing.
It's like, I look at stuff.
Yeah. Loves a novel.
That's what I get a sense of when he's looking at me. That's what I think he's thinking. I look at stuff.
That's what you think that he's thinking.
Yes.
You think that when he's looking at you, you're thinking that he's thinking I am looking at you.
Yeah. Well, because I talk about radio and he seems entirely uninterested.
Yeah.
And he looks at me in a particular way and I go, oh, what he's thinking is I look at stuff, I don't listen to the radio.
You know why? Because in bird culture, morning breakfast radio is not really a thing there.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me more about bird culture.
Tell me more about morning breakfast radio.
Well, like morning breakfast radio like we do. You know what we do, right?
I know. I like to think of it as more of a morning brunch radio because we kind of bleed into many hours of the day.
Yeah, but I think like it depends on him. Like that's obviously because you're going through the fasting. But like for me, I would breakfast and brunch. You know, like breakfast, real important. You don't want to skip that. You don't want to be starving going into your brunch.
Breakfast is more utilitarian. Brunch is more fun.
Would you then skip
brunch? Is for the table.
To me, brunch, I'm going to skip lunch. I'm not going to skip breakfast.
That's true.
I don't know if that's controversial.
No, that makes sense.
There's definitely people who have a little breakfast and then have a little brunch.
Yeah.
But you don't have a brunch and then have a lunch.
You
that's
do kind
insane.
of usually end up skipping one of them, but not leg day.
But have you heard about high tea?
Never skip leg day.
Never
high
skip
tea?
leg day.
High tea. That's when like you're going to have sandwiches and tea and stuff at like 3 p.m.
Love it.
Is it at 3 p.m.? I've heard of it. Isn't it like 5 o'clock tea?
Well, like 5 o'clock, you could probably go up until about then. But
is
like
that
you
the
can
window,
be early.
like 3 to 5?
Can
you
be
know
earlier.
what I'm realizing? I also realized that I kind of conflict. Even though I said 5 p.m. in my head, I was like high tea and high noon. And I'm like, those are different things.
Those are very
One
different
of them is a
things.
shootout.
Once, if you win the duel at high noon,
you get a little
high tea.
They bring out one of those little.
They should advertise that
that's
more.
Like 3 levels, and then the little cakes on one of them, and there's scones on another, and there's.
They should bring that out
sandwiches.
during the duels to be like, this is what you're fighting for. Like, if you survive,
they should bring out
you're
the
gonna
guns in that thing, and then you have
the little
3 rounds of shooting.
There you go. The
and
bottom
pistols, and then it's like knives at the end.
The bottom has the guns on it.
Yeah.
And so it's like first we do the guns, and then after that we work our way up the tower.
Yeah.
Did you just say there's knives at the end?
Yeah.
For the sandwiches. If you want to cut the cross stuff.
No, that's for the duel. Oh, that also makes sense.
So then you revisit the dueling.
Why are you just going to throw a knife at someone?
Wait, you
Because the
think you're not
bullets
going to
never worked. You're just going to stand. You're going to walk away, and then you're just going to go.
Excuse me, you're telling me you're not going to bring a knife to a gunfight?
Absolutely not.
That's crazy
I'm going to
talk.
bring more guns to a gunfight.
You can have both.
No, it depends what bag I'm bringing.
Also
That's
in
fair.
a duel,
But like a dive knife that's just on your calf?
Yeah, but like I have already got a little gun there. You never know. You know, a little sock gun.
A little sock gun.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you just have the one bullet in the duel
Yeah,
gun?
because you're not supposed to go bang, 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 bang. You're supposed to go bang.
You're not doing a Frank Reynolds, just start shooting.
shooting.
Bang,
Yeah.
bang, 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 bang.
Bing,
Bing,
bang,
bang,
bong.
bong.
Bing, bang, bang.
We have to get that on a t-shirt.
Bing, bang, bong.
Bing, bang, bong.
You know you can.
How?
How?
You get a pen and you buy a t-shirt.
That tracks.
But again, this still returns to the initial issue of
Thank you,
we have to get a t-shirt.
Penny just did. She said her thing, and then to punctuate it, she did a fist into an open palm, and then did a little bow, like thank you, sensei.
Way of the open hand Penny.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a karate background? Is that what that's from?
I have a karate background, which is
The difference being
So what's
you
that?
karate chop carrots.
karate.
That is what you do have
That's
background.
harder. That's a lot harder than the planks.
Yeah, like you want to. Oh, you're over here telling me we could all just karate chop a full carrot.
I don't know about karate chops, but I know one of them I can bite through.
The wood, the plank. Yeah.
It's tasty as well, depending on the wood.
Yeah.
Cherry wood.
Oak wood.
Love a cherry wood.
nom.
Oak is more of like an evening wood.
Did you guys hear about that new wood?
What's that? There's a new wood in town?
Yeah.
Oh, Bench, tell us.
Tell us more. Oh, do you know?
I
You
don't
know
know the
how you
class
know how
about
you can
this,
tell
yeah.
this is really off the cuff is because he wasn't prepared with their pre-written segment.
Not at all.
This is genuinely a thing I was just reading the other day. Did not mean to bring up now,
So it's
but
not
we
a
kind
formal-
of organically.
It's not a formal news item of the show, but it's something you were reading in your own time.
Exactly.
That now you're calling
Exactly. Let me just pull up the article here. It says that scientists exploring Finicky Ridge have discovered a new type of wood. They say this wood grows on a certain type of cherry tree, but is not cherry wood. This subspecies of cherry trees grows this wood instead of their cherries, and it is in fact legally a fruit. And they said it has tasting notes of salty and tangy, and they are currently looking for a new name to replace the temporary one of, quote, Larry.
So the wood, so it's cherry, it is a cherry tree.
We need to backtrack
but
a little
it
bit.
grows a wood. Isn't that just a different tree then?
Don't
or it's
all
a
trees
cherry
grow
tree?
wood? Question mark.
Yeah. By their very nature, the trees are wood.
Yeah.
Trees don't
I don't
grow
want to
wood,
go.
they
I don't
are
want to get
wood.
too philosophical, but
This
don't
is kind
all
of
trees
ego
wood?
death of a
Yeah.
tree.
Yeah.
If it's like, is it wood or
We're
what is it?
currently ego murdering cherry trees. Yeah.
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck grew
Wasn't.
wood like a tree chuck would?
I think if a tree heard you say that, it would just disintegrate to dust.
But if a tree said that and no one was around to hear it, did it really say that?
No, probably not.
Nah, yeah, I agree.
that
I
makes
don't think
sense.
anyone would
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Like, I think if
Easy
you went to a
question.
court of law, they'd go, no.
And again, speaking of law, legally, the scientists were saying that it is fruit. I think the thing is
The
that
wood is fruit?
yeah, they were saying that like it doesn't grow on the woody part of the tree. It's not like on the bark. It's where they would usually like have just the cherries.
So it's a different type of wood that just grows out of the cherry wood.
that is basically the idea. Yeah,
How is it different?
it tastes.
Well, how are they distinguishing like, oh, this is a different type of wood than the wood of the cherry tree? How do you tell that? How do you notice that?
Tastes very different. That's what they said.
Taste.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I am not a scientist,
No.
but I am a man of science.
Yeah.
Yes.
And those are very different but explicitly similar things.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only difference is accreditation and acknowledgement by any sort of scientific
Any
body.
sort
I want to
Or
be
published,
real clear
published works.
Yeah.
about something. This is not like a segment that I brought. This is literally just we can go back to the conversation before. This just
Oh, I don't remember what that
It's
is
a fun.
anymore.
It's a
Yeah.
fun fact.
we don't have to linger on this necessarily.
I have like object permanence, but not so much objects, but as conversation topics that if they're not directly waved in front of my
your
face with words,
They're gone.
what did we say?
They don't exist.
I'm going to start using that to describe my ADD from now on.
Where if a topic is not in front of you in the moment, it is
It's like-
gone and doesn't exist.
It's like object permanence, but for ideas and thoughts.
I thought,
And
but isn't it also
conversations.
just like there's like too many things?
You said that as though it was
There's just too many things for the brain.
is that a reference?
I think
Is that
all,
a reference?
No, I think also medical things are spoken to like an old timey Hollywood starlet.
Medical things?
Medical
Yeah.
things?
It's like you broke your arm, sweetheart. Like that's
Aw.
how it works in my brain.
I wish doctors were like that.
Hey, they used to be.
That would make it
A cigarette a day
Interesting.
never hurt no one.
Yeah.
a sugar a day.
A cigarette a day
A cigarette a day.
never hurt no one except all the people it hurt.
Science.
Science.
Medicine.
Medicine.
I am not a scientist, but
You're-
I am a science enthusiast.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a woman of science.
No.
And
You're not a woman in STEM, but you are
Enthusiastic about the E in STEM stands for enthusiastic.
Enthusiasm.
like mathematics.
Science, technology, and
Enthusiasm.
enthusiasm.
Mathematics.
Enthusiasm and
Mathematics,
mathematics. Yeah. Nice. Man, I wish there were more old timey doctors and medical practitioners.
It just makes it
Like-
so much
like
nicer
the
delivering
Nick.
bad news.
You
What
know?
happened? The Nick. Tell me what happens in the first episode of the Nick.
Didn't we go over this?
We went over
We
there.
just go over this again.
I
It's
love to talk about this
single-handedly
sequence of-
the best thing I've never watched.
It's one of my favorite things in the world
Oh,
is
you
to
haven't
talk about
seen
this
so
scene
many
in
great
the
things.
Nick.
But I
Yep.
think there is no better thing I've not watched than the opening bit of the Nick based on Dirk's description of it.
Clive Owen, a doctor addicted to cocaine, gets cocaine injected to his dick while he's shivering in bed and then immediately throws open the doors of the surgery and starts ordering people around, just super jacked up with a dick of cocaine.
Whoever decided to do a smash cut between those scenes must have the whole time
My
just been
hero.
like giggling to themselves, like, I've done it.
This is brilliant.
This
We won
is-
television.
Television.
Ugh. Love the Nick.
When is that show set? Is that like
Early 1900s,
Okay,
early
so
20th
here's a
century
question.
in
When
New
we
York.
were still like
That's-
really into cocaine as a thing.
Yeah. When cocaine was just like part of everything.
Yeah.
When cocaine was just part of medicine.
And
They're
soft
like-
drinks.
Yes. Yeah. People were super into cocaine back then.
The thing that I want to bring that I hope comes back most from like old timey medicine in that time is like the big flash that they have on their heads.
Oh, the big
Like camera
metallic.
flash. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's what that is. It looks like a camera
To
flash.
reflect light.
Yeah. Or to take pictures better.
Oh, the on the cameras.
No,
On
on
their
their
heads.
head.
On their heads
You know, they have
themselves.
the
Sometimes doctors
headbands
have
and
like
it's
a
like
little like a
tiny
big circle.
satellite. It was like a little
Are
satellite
they? Is
for
it
picking
part
up.
of their bodies, or is this something that is attached to
No,
them?
it's a thing
Attached
you
to them.
wear. You thought it was part of
Okay.
the human body.
I
It's a metal
didn't know.
plate.
Maybe humans have evolved a lot over the years. Maybe humans 100 years ago had lights on top of their heads.
Do you know
Listen,
that the
I'm not a man of evolution or science biology. I'm just evolved.
Okay.
That sounded kind of
Yeah,
you know-
we
in a
are
way that I
evolved.
didn't expect.
did
but
you did you know that the S in STEM stands for satellite head?
Satellite head.
Mm-hmm.
Satellite head, technology,
Enthusiasm, mathematics.
Man,
It would have been better if we all high fived at the end of it, or like high 10, but like we did the like triangle of
Triangle
high
five.
fives.
have we ever
Nice.
done that?
No, but I think
We
it
need
has to
earn
be
it. We need
natural.
to.
I don't
point.
think it
Just
should
like
be
my
rehearsed.
segment, my
Yes.
my my news thing.
yes,
needs to be-
has to be
yeah.
natural.
Yeah.
So they used to strap a light bulb to their head.
Yeah.
How would it go off? How would it know to go off?
Was it a
when they
light
were
bulb?
taking
I
a
thought it was
camera.
just a shiny bit metal that then bounced the light. To
I
where
thought
they
it was
were looking.
like a camera flash.
Who's pressing the like? Because weren't flashes at the time? Didn't you need to replace them a lot?
I mean, also
Each
they're
bulb
like,
would blow out when you
but
used it. I think.
it's they're medical practitioners. I would expect
Did
them to exchange
Clive-
them like gloves
Is it
between.
I thought it was a photography thing. Is
No,
this
no,
a
no,
medical
doctors.
thing?
Yeah, so you could see
Medical
into the body
doctors.
when you were doing the science. Did Clive Owen not explain this at any point in the neck?
They didn't get into that. They were mostly focused on the cocaine in his dick.
I can see why. That
Yeah.
does sound more interesting.
It's more compelling.
Should we talk more about that?
100%. I need to finish a roll of film, so don't mind me.
Please. Oh, you're getting into photography.
I actually
Fantastic.
do as well, but
you know
not
the
right now.
P in STEM stands for photography.
The P in STEM.
It's a
It's
silent P.
It's
The
for
silent- where does it go?
It's like it's,
Sort of at the end or at the beginning? Usually,
beginning.
that's
you know
how
how
it
you
works.
spell Stephen?
Sure.
It's kind of like that.
I don't. How do you spell Stephen?
So like if you did Stephen with an STEPH.
Stefan?
No, that's also a Stephen.
Stefan.
They get real mad when you call them that.
Who?
Stevens.
But what about Stefans?
Stefan Curry.
Stefan would be Welsh, and you would usually spell it with F's.
Are all Stefans Welsh?
Not all Stefans are Welsh, but Stefan is a Welsh name.
Huh.
But all Welsh are Stefans.
Yeah,
What about Stefans?
that's a totally different. I don't know what inflection you're putting on that, where that comes from.
Okay, and what about Steppenwolf?
The third, I don't know.
The theater company?
Wasn't that? I don't know who that is.
Is that also old timey?
Sure.
Did they have lights on their heads
But
and do
probably
a lot of cocaine?
their productions are wild, man.
Are they?
Yeah.
Nice.
They do like old-timey hats on their head.
Old timey
old timey hats.
Such as
Explain more.
fedora.
Fedora.
Top.
You know, foof,
Mm.
tails.
Mm.
Crown.
Did
That
you
was
just run out of
proud.
he- Did you just
Ben
forget
started
what head
wildly doing like a tipping his hat sort of hand gesture and then
Did
said
Ben-
crown,
did
which
Ben-
is one of the only hats that you definitely don't tip.
I'll
Can
be
I
honest, I was
also-
doing this to try to jog my memory to remember any types of.
Yeah, I
It
feel
could have been
you
like
said,
a paperboy
Yeah,
hat, could have been a trucker hat, could have been
it's
any
interesting
kind of
because
hat.
you said
Crown.
fedora and then you forgot about any other hat in the world, even though we'd had a full
Top.
discussion
We had
about
top as well.
top fedora, and then you forgot like a skip cap, like even the common hats you see out and about.
Captain's hat.
Skip cap. I've never heard of a skip cap. What is
Skip
that?
cap. It's like a trucker hat. It's just another term for like
Trucker hat.
Yeah.
Skip cap.
And that is,
Skip cap.
That's
I
cool.
do
I
believe
like
that
that.
the T in STEM does stand for trucker hat, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, they don't say
Mhm.
skipper hat.
So satellite head,
Satellite
trucker hat, enthusiasm, mathematics,
photography, mathematics.
photography, mathematics. Right.
What was the first one?
Satellite head,
Satellite head,
trucker hats, enthusiasm, photography, mathematics. Yes, there we go. Nope.
Hey, we did it.
It needs to be a fully united thing.
Okay.
Bench just tried to high five me, but Penny
What?
was
I
taking a
tried
photo.
to high five Penny as well, but she was trying to take a
She's
picture.
busy
That's
with,
rude.
her new hobby,
Take a picture.
photography.
It will last longer. Should I look?
That's
at
what
it?
people do. A lot of people do
The weird thing
take
is,
photos, and it does last longer.
you said that, but I was like, oh, the light's bad in this room. I can't take it.
You keep saying that every time you go to take a picture of me.
Yeah.
We've been
It's
outside.
that little rainy cloud that follows you around. It ruins the light.
There was at one time we were in a studio and I was professionally lit, and you were like, "The lighting's
The
bad."
light's
here."
bad.
Light's
Yeah.
bad.
Maybe it wasn't the light that was coming down onto you. Maybe it was the light that was bouncing off of your face.
Off
like
of the
jazz, it's the
satellite.
light.
Like
that's
your
not
face
there.
was ruining the light.
It was the little satellite
you say it like
headband that you had.
I'm
on.
hypothesizing. I was not there.
Huh.
So but I'm just...
I had a good joke, but it got ignored.
What did you
and I would
say?
like it to be. I would like it
I
on the
I
record.
need to hear
Tagline
it.
of our show. I had a good joke, but it got ignored.
It was the light bouncing off your little satellite hat that was the problem. It was a callback.
Oh, that joke was so great that Bench
Just punched a desk.
I'll be
punched
honest,
a
I was
desk.
trying to raise my hand to clap,
And
give this the
instead you
clap that-
punched the desk.
but instead my hand went, nope.
It just smashed the desk in
in
victory.
fury. Fury that he
furious
didn't think
victory.
of that joke himself.
I'm not a comedian. Why would I
Serious.
think of jokes?
It's fair.
Yeah.
You've always said jokes are a waste of time.
You've always said jokes are the layman's
Refuge.
refuge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot the quote from him,
final
and I'm
word.
glad you. I'm
The
glad you
final word.
remembered.
The
Yeah, yeah.
lame man's refuge.
I never
Ugh.
need to repeat my words because you guys remember them so well,
Yeah,
and you
we're
put them
good at
back in my
piecing.
mouth.
We're good at piecing
You're
them
so
together.
good at
Yeah.
taking
and
words
then-
and putting them in my mouth.
Sometimes you say things, and I'm like, oh, I can only be bothered remembering half of this. But luckily for me, Dirk remembers the exact other half of it,
Yep.
and together we
And then
can
we
piece it
attribute
together.
them to you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like
Sometimes-
a jigsaw puzzle.
Yes. Like a jigsaw puzzle of words.
And you and I have to ask you to stop doing this whenever we have a camping trip. I wake up with so many jigsaw pieces in my mouth that you keep putting them there, and it's
You got to start with the corners.
Yeah. And also that's
you do
It's a good tip.
piece them together.
yeah. And that's how we find where we're going. We create the map with out of the jigsaw puzzle pieces.
It adds an extra fun level to the trip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
that's the M in STEM.
maps,
Maps. Yeah. Satellite head,
trucker hat,
trucker hat, enthusiasm, photography,
Maps.
maps.
That was great.
That worked
We
really
all-
well.
Should we go to
Every
a break
single
right
one of
now?
us almost fell over
Yeah.
when we
I
attempted
think I've pulled
that
a muscle in my arm.
3-person high five, but it created a moment of unity that was absolutely joyous, momentarily terrifying when
Yeah.
it felt like we were all going to fall over, but absolute unity. And unity is always a great note to end on.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. Good Morning Driftwood is executive produced and hosted by Zach Stewart, Laura Hotchkiss, and Daniel Kvoras. Engineered and produced by Zach Stewart. Music by Daniel Kvoras.